You're watching Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Brad Marchand, Brandon Carlo, Mikko Rantanen. Pretty sure only one team got Max Jones. Let's get into it with the lead. To the max.
Oil to the max.
Oil to the max. Welcome into Oilers Nation every day, live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. The show presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Tyler and Lehman with you. Sorry we weren't there on our regularly scheduled time today. Very, very busy doing the daily Face-Off Live Trade Deadline special. Wow, that's the first time all day I've stuttered, Liam. But anyways, I'm happy to be back. I got the hat, the hoodie back on. I feel like myself again.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was.
Not
really
as busy as years past. We kicked it off with a big one, though. Cousins and Josh Norris.
Yeah.
It's more significant than last year, as you referenced in your research of Kuzmenko. What was his name?
Kuznetsov.
But obviously no trades for the Oilers, which is why everyone's here. But still a busy week for them. Interesting day. Frank just made a
very weird tweet.
So he just tweeted out, if you've noticed, neither Dallas nor Carolina have officially announced a Rantanen deal. Not expecting a hiccup, but it hasn't been processed yet by the NHL. Still in queue, as you were. I mean, I would fully expect this to go through. Contracts all sorted, but if it didn't, that would be awesome.
It would be very, very funny.
Yeah.
We can go a whole bunch of different ways here. Do we want to start from, let's just do Oilers for a second, because I'll be honest, that's kind of the most important thing here. It's Oilers Nation every day. For the Oilers, they didn't end up doing anything else. And one thing that is crazy is that we don't have the return yet on Brad Marchand. It's like, we know there's some sort of a conditional second rounder in there, but just going off the prices that were paid and what the Oilers had already accomplished. We went live last night. We talked about Jake Wallman, talked about how much we love that Jake Wallman trade for the Edmonton Oilers. They have Trent Frederick now. We got our first look at Max Jones yesterday, who was a throw-in, but I'm willing to say after watching him play for one hockey game, I expect him to be more impactful than a Sam Carrick was.
Oh, you can skate way better than Carrick, and has a lot more skill than him. There was definitely a player there last night that was trying to prove that he didn't belong in the American Hockey League, which I really did appreciate. I don't think we've seen, no pun intended, but that a maximum amount of effort from a bottom six player in a while, both impactful on both sides of the ice. He did really well. Obviously, Stan Bowman's talking to the media right now, and Oilers Nation BM is tweeting out some of the quotes. Just on the Rantanen and Marchand thing, Bowman said, we took a swing at a lot of things, but I don't want to comment specifically on those players. I will say we were aggressive in trying to make things happen, but obviously nothing did.
So, we'll see what the Marchand return is again.
Yeah.
Because if it's a second-round pick and it comes out that, hey, just the Edmonton Oilers didn't want to pay that price tag, that's a mistake. You pay a second-round pick to get a difference-maker, near point-per-game guy, right? But if it is Marchand maybe had all the Canadian teams on his no-trade list, there's a whole bunch of ways where the Marchand thing just maybe wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to go through the deals here. Do I like Brandon Carlo? Absolutely. Would have really liked Brandon Carlo. Do I Fraser Minton and a first-round pick like Brandon Carlo? Nope. Because that is Matt Savoy. Right?
Yeah, I guess in the Oilers equivalency of it, yeah.
It's Savoy or O'Reilly.
Yeah, it's probably more O'Reilly. But either way, one of your top prospects, he was the Leafs' best prospect.
Instead, we just gave up a first and got a guy in Jake Wallman who moves the puck better, isn't as good of a pure defender, but you still went out and got a guy.
Yeah, you went out and got a guy, and also all you gave up was Carl Berglund in the deal as well. Everyone was speculating, what prospect could it be? For one, we never, ever thought when we did the stream yesterday it would be any of those top three guys on the Oilers. It was obviously going to be someone close to the
It was a contract,
of the pack. Yeah, and Berglund, as Bruce Kurlock said, he's not a prospect. And then I think Bruce McCurdy followed up being he's a contract filler. So good deal by the Oilers. Obviously, conditional in 2026 as well. Top 12 protected, I believe it is. Hopefully that never occurs, but it would then go to 2027 unprotected.
Mikko Rantanen, is that something I would have loved to see? Absolutely. But do the Oilers have 2 first-round picks? No. Do they have anyone that's equivalent to Logan Stankoven? No. 2 more third-round picks? They gave up a lot, and furthermore, Mikko Rantanen, I don't think you get a deal done with him on that short notice here. Obviously, you don't. Again, tax-free, Dallas being Dallas, all of that allowed that to happen. Luke Kunin for a 4th-round pick. I wouldn't have minded that, but I'm not sure. I don't view Luke Kunin as a difference maker. I really don't. Brandon Tanev for a 2nd-round pick. You went and got Trent Frederick. You don't need more. No. I don't see a deal that happened today. Sorry, just to finish. I don't see a deal that happened today, Liam, where I go, shit, I really wish Bowman would have done that exact move. I don't see it.
Yeah, the only one, obviously, we're just waiting on is Marchand, and I think we can really give our final thoughts after that. But I'm with you. There wasn't a lot that was done. I'm just so upset about, obviously. Goaltending has been a big topic of conversation. Skinner played really well yesterday, but the only goalie that was moved today was Peter Mrazek back to the Detroit Red Wings for whatever reason. I'm pretty sure they have as many goaltenders as the New Jersey Devils have defensemen. It's absolutely insane. I don't know what the Isa plan currently is, but it's a weird one.
We'll list some losers here in a little bit, but if you're worried about the state of the Oilers heading into the playoffs, and you're looking at Dallas and Colorado, and maybe you're even looking at Winnipeg, who did their shopping with Tanev and Luke Schenn, and obviously have Connor Hellebuck between the pipes. Are the Edmonton Oilers better than they were a week ago?
Yes.
They added 2 strong players and took a flyer on a guy like Max Jones, who I think gives you something different in your bottom 6. So are the Oilers better? Yes. Are the Vegas Golden Knights better than they were a week ago?
Slightly.
Marginally.
Yeah, they made a move.
Riley Smith is closer to replacement level than impactful in my eyes. I really don't see him as that good of a player.
They essentially were just able to replace Tanner Pearson or Rafael Lavar in that lineup. So slight upgrade, but again, the Kings too, to continue on, they didn't make any moves.
They got Kuzmenko.
Good. That's a good deal.
For us, for Oilers fans.
For the Oilers.
Like Rob Blake, his seat should be burning. Calgary didn't make a move, didn't get better. Vancouver didn't make a move, didn't get better. So you sit there and look. One, you're probably getting LA in round 1. Okay. I'm not scared about that matchup.
No, obviously probably a bit better goaltending than they've had in years past. Darcy Kemper's turned it up.
But even then, goaltending has never been the reason the Oilers beat them.
No, it's not a huge difference maker. I agree. And that's something too. Yes, Dallas and Colorado definitely got better today. Minnesota should be pretty disappointed in what they were able to do. But those 2 teams are just going to beat up each other. I think back to years ago. Do you remember when the New Jersey Devils made the conference final, the Stanley Cup final?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh and Philly were so good. They beat up on each other. Philly went through. Philly was so exhausted from that matchup against Pittsburgh that then they lost to New Jersey as well. I can't remember if they played in the Eastern Finals that year, but it was just the Oilers have a bit of a softer runway than what the Central Division will be, which kind of benefits them as long as, it's going to sound very funny, it's don't finish first in the division. You kind of want to avoid that.
Well, okay,
unless
but
it's Minnesota.
It's going to be Minnesota.
Yeah.
You're telling me Colorado, they're tied right now, and Minnie has a game in hand. You're telling me Colorado's not going to be 2 points better than Minnie for the final 19 games? There is no way. Colorado loaded up, and we'll talk about the prices they paid, but Brock Nelson, Charlie Coyle, they are a better hockey team than they were 24, 36 hours ago. So if you're looking at what the likely bracket is, Vegas will likely play Minnesota, Edmonton will likely play LA, and then the winners will play each other. If you're sitting here worried, and trust me, I am, Dallas is a very, very good team on paper. They're better than the Oilers. Colorado's a very, very good team on paper. They're better than the Edmonton Oilers. Winnipeg, I'm maybe not there on paper, but still, like Vasily says, Avs are terrifying. Yes, they need to make it out and make it to the conference finals for us to even be mildly concerned about them. Because if you're Edmonton, you're going to get LA and you're going to wax them in 5 or whatever it is, and then you're going to get Vegas or Minnesota. And Minnesota, listen, the way they play, I would not be the least bit surprised if they beat Vegas. And Naeem says it. I love the optimism, Naeem, because you're someone who, and this isn't a shot, but you're someone who's hard on this team a lot. And I get that. I get a lot of people in the chat I'm hard on this team a lot too. Naeem dropping in $5 saying, fuck it, it's a cup year. Yeah, their path to the cup is not all that scary.
First super chat for Naeem, too. Thank you very much, Naeem.
Thank you, Naeem.
Going to the Ben Stelter Foundation, of course. We got told the other day, raised a ton of money. We'll get a number soon. Sweet. But I'm with you. I think, obviously, this has been an absolute roller coaster for Oilers fans the past couple of weeks at least. But I think there's a reason to be optimistic after the deadline passed today. The Oilers upgraded on a couple of positions. The team is better than what it was. They also now know that Evander Kane, obviously the other layer of this, it will not return, which is probably more likely than anything.
Yeah.
But everyone is obviously upset they didn't go and get a top 6 forward. This also now allows the Oilers to call up Matthew Savoy and just have him on the team if they want, and he can be a top 6 player for them. And there's ways that they can move around and have that top 6 guy in the organization already. Will they do it? I don't know, but I think they should. What do you think?
Can you repeat the question?
Should Savoy be on the Oilers now?
That's what we were talking about. Sorry, again, you might have to do that 2 or 3 more times for me here.
I wasn't sighing. I was like, oh, come on. I was out of breath.
Yeah. And we obviously had that conversation yesterday with Enzo. They need someone to step up next to Leon Draisaitl. And if you think that they didn't recognize that, I mean, come on, Stan Bowman basically came out and said it. Like, they were trying to shop around for top 6 help, and ultimately, I think what got in their way was the no movement clauses and the bodies they already had in the mix. So if Victor Arvidsson or Vasily Podkolzin aren't going to start putting pucks in the net, then I don't think you're doing your job, whether you're Knobloch or Bowman or whoever. You're not doing your job to the best of your abilities if you don't have Matt Savoy in that top 6, because I think you can look at the way he played in a limited sample size with Leon and in his first few NHL games where there's a learning curve and be like, he can produce. He is sure-handed with the puck, and you can't say that about Arvidsson right now. Definitely can't say that about Vasily Podkolzin, whose favorite thing to do is get to a shooting area, then bring the puck behind the net.
It's exciting stuff from Vasily right now.
There's no one who loves a nice low drive to the goal line more than Vasily Podkolzin. He's just absolutely allergic to shooting the puck. I thought Adam, there are guys who just need to be better. Like, are the Oilers playing like a Stanley Cup contender right now?
No.
Absolutely goddamn not. Not even close. Do the Oilers have the pieces to be a Stanley Cup contender? Yes, because we just saw Stuart Skinner yesterday play unbelievable, post a .926, stop 3-4 shots in overtime, and lead the Oilers to a win against a pretty hot Montreal team who had one of the oddest scorers in the NHL in Nick Suzuki. Mm-hmm. Stuart Skinner was dialed last night. If that can be a turning point, and if they get that kind of play from Stuart Skinner, they're going to win a playoff round.
It definitely needs to show consistency now with however many games are left from 20, I think. And they need him big time. And you said it on the trade deadline show. It's like this team will go as far as Skinner will guide them like they did last season. I know he had a hiccup, but he still came back and did reasonably well. I like this team. I think there's still a lot of potential to play with. Like we're not going to see Frederick for a while, but Bowman did also say, I'll find the exact quote in a minute, but he said he'll be back before the playoffs. Yep. I know that was a bit of a worry for people, but it looks all right. Do we have the lines, Aaron? I know we're kind of doing the show on the fly.
Just quickly, Rusty, $5 to the Ben Stelter Found. Say what you want about Stan. I think he did a great job. Edmonton proved they were the best team in the NHL today. Or proved they were the best team in the NHL for 3 months, and they are better today. Yeah, I think that's a totally fine way to look at it. And listen, the Oilers could have went and added Brad Marchand and done all of this stuff. There would have still been detractors. You are never going to please anyone, but I think a rational take here is that the Oilers, in a market that was very, very difficult and very, very heavily skewed towards the sellers, they found a way to make 2 good trades without giving up any of their big-name prospects and without, I'll say, totally depleting their draft pick capital. Because if you go look, I'm going to fire up their Puckpedia page here. They still have a 3rd rounder this year, and next year they have a 2nd and a 3rd rounder again. And 2027, they still have their 1st. If you would have went and got Brad Marchand, you probably don't have that 2027 1st, which again, I would have liked. I would have done that move. Don't take that the wrong way. But the Oilers got better, kept draft pick capital in check. And the other thing, Jake Wallman got a guy with term. Next year, you're going to be sitting at the deadline, and are we going to be clamoring for a defenseman? We shouldn't be. For the first time in the Connor McDavid era, the 2026 deadline should feature 0 talk about the Oilers needing an impactful defenseman, because it should be show up to training camp, set it and forget it. Ekholm, Bush, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, Emberson. Boom, we're done. And Cam Dineen might be your 7 because I liked him a lot last night, aside from that one moment where he directly caused a goal against. Other than that, I liked Cam Dineen last night.
He did bounce back and did a good job in his first game in a few years. I got the quote here from Bowman on Matthew Savoy. So what I just said, just kind of scrap it, to be honest. Really impressed with the progression from training camp to where he was a week ago. The idea of sending him down to Bakersfield was to play big minutes he wouldn't get here. And then he also went on to say he's obviously, that was Tom O'Reilly, sorry. There was one other one. There it is. He's got a great attitude and has embraced being at Bakersfield. He wasn't sour about being there. He embraced the penalty kill role, but looking at our team, he probably won't be a power play player right now. That's why we had him on the penalty kill. I think he might be up before the playoffs, though. I could see him being on the playoff roster. I know Bakersfield is maybe pushing for that right now, but I could see him being an impactful player sometime from now until whenever the other season is officially over.
For our friends at Service Credit Union, the Service Big Share Contest is back. It's your chance to win $1 million just by saving money. Every $500 you save gets you 5 entries into the Service Big Share Contest. Find out more at service.ca/win. Skill test required. Contest ends April 30th, 2025. Liam, let's do it. One big take for Service. Let's build a playoff lineup, but let's do it together. Let's consensus this thing, all right?
Okay.
Top line, McDavid and Hyman, they're locked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who's your left winger?
I think it will be Nuge.
I think it will be Nuge, too. I would love for it to be Adam Henrique, or to at least see that as a look down the stretch. But I think night one of the playoffs, the old dance with the one that got you there line. Go with Nuge there. So we're agreeing to keep that top line. Second line.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Well, Draisaitl centering who?
Podkolzin and Savoy.
You're not the least bit tempted to go Trent Frederick and Savoy?
No, I have a plan.
Okay. So you want to go Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Savoy, which means your third line is going to be Rico?
It's the same. I'm sorry.
That'll be your fourth line?
Oh, this is actually way more difficult than I thought.
It's very difficult.
Because Arvidsson is obviously going to stay in. There's no movement clause to stay in the top 6.
Yeah, can't be moved to the press box or moved to another NHL team.
Jeez. I don't think Max Jones makes the opening night one because obviously Evander Kane will come back.
Kill you.
I would assume, I'll say the guys who are out.
I want you to stop talking.
Savoy won't come up right away. Arvidsson, top 6 will stay the same. Top 9 will stay the same. The only replacements will be Max Jones and Kasperi Kapanen for Trent Frederick and Evander Kane. And then I'll probably just make that third line third line, the fourth line, the third line. But also, too, we can label them as that, but I think it's so clear and obvious. The others have a way they want to play is 1A, 1B, 3A, 3B. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get what you're picking up there. I do agree. I think Henrique, Janmark, Brown can be your fourth line. And, I mean, the idea of having a, 3A, 3B, I like that. I'm going to use that.
People saying, where's Skinner? If he's not in the lineup on March 6th, when this game was yesterday, and it's the 8th time he's been healthy scratched, do you really think he's in the lineup opening night of the playoffs?
Oh, God, no.
Highly doubt it. Unfortunately, he's done well, but not well enough in some people's eyes.
He's going to be on a playoff roster for the first time in his career, but he's probably not playing playoff games. Tough. You feel for him. And again, injuries can happen. You never know when someone's going to get hurt and totally change the complexion of things. But I think I agree with you that would be a good prediction. Is Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Savoy, Henrique, Janmark, Brown, and then Kane with Frederick and Perry, which has a chance to just be a beast of a line and a real handful to play against come playoff time. Can I give you a dream scenario for me?
Please do.
McDavid, Henrique, Hyman.
Yep.
Draisaitl, Savoy, and I can keep Podkolzin there. Draisaitl, Savoy, Podkolzin. And then I would do Nuge with Arvidsson and Kane. And then I would go, Nuge with Arvidsson and Frederick maybe? And then I would go Janmark centering Brown and Perry. No, maybe I like the other one more. We might have nailed it on the first try.
There's so many players.
There is. Someone said Kane and Draisaitl was orgasmic in the playoffs. Great use of the word orgasmic.
Yeah, that was good.
And at 5-on-5 in the Stanley Cup playoff, that was regular season. I want to pull up the playoff numbers here. My bad.
They were really good against Vancouver. If I remember.
5-on-5, 127 minutes. They got outshot, got outchanced, but outscored the other team 8-7. But their underlying metrics weren't that good, or weren't as good as they were in the regular season. So I'd be a little bit hesitant on that, but
I would be curious to dwindle those numbers down a little bit more and just see until Kane got hurt. That would obviously change a lot. And Draisaitl obviously also got hurt in the playoffs too. It's they always have good problems still, even without getting that top 6 forward, which there was a bit of speculation this morning that maybe they could go out and do that, but obviously it didn't end up happening. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Someone said, I can't see what the name is, said Savoy. He didn't say Savoy. Savior is not the playoff ready. Well, he probably is.
How did Matthew Barnaby say his name today on the show?
Savoy.
Shout out to the Drayton Valley Thunder commentator.
He was awesome.
The DV commentator?
No, Matthew Barnaby.
Oh, Matthew Barnaby. Yeah, Barnaby was really, really good. Like I said, I literally...
Both.
I had never spoken to him before. It
was
like
good.
10
Like-
minutes before we went live, and it was like, hey, I'm Tyler. Nice to meet you.
You know, a few years ago, we had Jay Rosehill obviously talk about the Ritchie brothers when they got traded for each other and their
Yeah.
wives. That's obviously the number one comment ever.
Can't top it.
No, but Matthew Barnaby calling Elias Pettersson a baby, number 2 for sure.
Pretty good.
That was a good
comedic
one.
timing.
Yeah, that was really, really solid. But yeah, even without a top 6 forward, this forward group still looks good. Obviously, you need guys to perform a little bit better.
Yeah.
I would push Jan Mark down the lineup massively. He should be healthy scratch next game in my eyes. But
Him missing that breakaway was one of the most insane things I've ever seen with my own eyes in an NHL game. And I saw Leon Draisaitl score from the other end of the ice this year.
That's true. That was just terrible.
He missed the net by like 3 feet. He had a breakaway from the other
I think-
blue line in.
The defenseman gave up because he knew who had the puck.
Yep.
Is that we're good?
That was criminal. That was absolutely insane that happened. All right, we do need to just like kind of rattle off a few things here as we continue our way through the show. First off, Nation Beer, Odd Company Brewing, the Nation Beer Everyday Lager, a crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for any day. Find Odd Company just this weekend. Weather's still good. Patio season. Let's get it. Downtown Ritchie location, both their patios absolutely bang. Shout out to Odd Company Brewing. I have 7 of these in the fridge. How many of them will I drink? I don't know.
I already had one post-deadline
You
show.
did, and I'm very, very jealous of you, but I want to wait for mine to get truly cold.
Yeah, it was pretty warm. Still delicious.
Yeah,
Still
good.
delicious.
Still good. Also, shout out to Oodle Noodle, had the Tokyo Glazed double beef. My order.
Tokyo
Shout out to
Glazed,
BM for ordering it for the office. It was ready to go, still hot. Finished the show, wolfed it down. It was boom, deleted, gone.
Oodle noodle. Top of the list every time. I had some great green onion cakes.
Ooh, are there more downstairs?
No, I ate them all.
Okay.
Some spring rolls.
Let's do winners and losers of the deadline period, Liam. So let's go East and West. Let's start in the East. Detroit is my absolute biggest loser. You lack direction. You've lost 4 in a row. The Yzer plan is fraudulent. Whatever you want to say. I have a hard time looking at anyone and looking at any fan base. The Detroit Red Wings are major losers. Wow.
Brock Sagan was very upset online
As he should be.
today. He is, if you don't know, Brock does a lot of our fantasy content at DFO, and he's a Detroit Red Wings fan. He was pissed, and I think that's fair. They did not do a good job at all. I don't really understand why they went out and got Peter Mrazek to add to their already triumphant crew of goaltender. They have Jack Campbell. What more do they want?
And they're walking into the post-deadline period now with $10.2 million in cap space and legitimate pressure to get out of a playoff drought.
Yeah.
They have all their draft picks and a bonus 3rd rounder and a bonus 7th rounder this year. At the very, 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 very least, you needed that 3rd and 7th round pick to be out the door for the biggest cap dump piece of defensive help that you could find. Matt Grzelcyk. You're telling me Pittsburgh wouldn't have given him to you for a 5th? Come on.
Yeah.
Luke Schenn. Why did you not go just pay for Luke Schenn? Your blue line stinks, and you're trying to make the playoffs.
They're not going to make it. Yzerman deserves to be fired if they don't as well. It's just been terrible, terrible. Another loser, I mean, it's hard not to look at Carolina and think they're a loser. I know they got Stankoven, and he's doing fine, I guess. He's kind of struggled this season, but like, you went from having Nakas, or Nachas, whatever his name is, to Rantanen to having Stankoven. Like, just a really, really bad day for them, I think. What did you make of that?
Here's where I struggle with calling it a bad day for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
Let's look at this in a 2-month period, right? You traded away Nachas, Drury, and a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah.
And you got Logan Stankoven, 2 firsts, 2 thirds, and Taylor Hall.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win.
Not for a team that's trying to win a Stanley Cup and has always not been able to get over the hump because you don't have elite players.
So the other reason I'll give them a bit of credit, though, is that whole trade there, Plus, you took the shot at Mikko Rantanen.
I
There
don't
is
mind
no
the
what
shot.
if. So, like, would it have been smarter to just keep Mikko and then go to the summer with him?
Yeah.
No, Logan Stankoven and the
Yeah,
picks. The mistake.
he'll never be that. And if Dallas wins, then those picks are like, the most
Yep.
are like 28 and less.
I
Right?
view them more as trade capital than
Well, they
anything.
had trade capital and they didn't use it.
And that's where I'll agree that the loser part of it comes in. Brock Besser should be on this team. Someone else should be on this team right now.
Yeah.
And you didn't go pay that price. Because if you would have sat and flipped a first-round pick for Brock Besser, I would have been sitting here being like, holy shit, you got Besser and Stankoven and Taylor Hall in your top 9.
Mm-hmm.
You gave up Natchez and Drury, sure. And you have some leftover assets that you can use in future years at future deadlines. Like, they needed to get Besser. They needed to get Marchand. Why did you not go get Brad Marchand? That would have changed the complexion of that forward group.
Even someone like Jared McCann.
Yeah, why
Like,
not?
That would have been a fine pickup too. Like, I don't know. I can't sit here and call them winners. I really cannot. I honestly, you made your bed with Rantanen. I would have ran the risk. Just believe in your organization. I was like, okay, like, unless he like straight up came out and was like, I will never sign him no matter what, then yes, fair enough. Like, make the trade. But as far as we know, it just sounds like he didn't want to make that deal within that time span that he was there. Obviously, he made it pretty quick when he was in Dallas.
Can
so
I read
that's
you a
interesting.
quote from Eric Tulsky that just came out?
Yes. This might change me.
I think we have a great organization. I think we have a great coach. I think we have a great locker room, but it just doesn't fit for everyone, and it just didn't fit like him to him.
Yeah, then that changes things, I guess.
Him saying the coach line in there, that tells you everything you needed to know.
Yeah, I think they should have done a bit more. I just find it interesting now because I think they're a first round exit. I really do. I think
They're beating New Jersey.
if they beat New Jersey and that's who they end up getting, it's probably going to be them, isn't it? Unless Columbus can climb up and are they in that division?
I
yet,
would love to see
Metro?
Columbus beat Carolina.
I
That'd
think
be great.
Don Waddell.
Columbus will be our East team, right?
I think they're my NHL team, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
Do you want me to start bringing in Blue Jackets jerseys? Blue Jacket
you
game
are a
days?
former Blue Jackets
I am.
supporter.
I own a heavy amount of Blue Jackets
Yeah.
jerseys.
I own a Brandon Dubinsky Blue Jackets jersey from it's like the cream colored and blue one
Yeah.
with the weird logo.
Oh, we
I
have the
ordered a
cannon?
nudes jersey from China. They sent me that. Sick ODR jersey.
I just look at, and I know they got Taylor Hall too, so that's good. But like right now, their second line left winger is Jordan Marnock.
Not good enough. But does Stankoven end up working his way up the lineup?
He's a right shot.
I know. Flip him.
Flip him, just flip him. They're also really little.
Winners in the East. Every team in the Atlantic. Florida, Toronto, Tampa. All good.
Even like Ottawa did a good job too. I think that Fabian Zetterlund deal is pretty.
They got a
decent.
lot better.
Yeah, like obviously I know.
Although the
that-
Brady Kachuk Norris thing, dude.
Yeah, not ideal. I wouldn't have done that. I don't know if like is Dylan Cousins that much better than Josh Norris?
He's more dependable, I think. And I
guess
think
health-wise,
and you're
for
hoping you'll
sure.
get the best out of him, right?
Yeah, like I don't hate that deal by any means. I think Ottawa did a good job today. Their second line added 2 second line players. Dennis Gilbert gives them a bit more toughness too, I guess. Like if they really needed that. I mean, they're just trying to get into the playoffs, and that's about it. So I think they did a good job. Who was the other team in? I feel like another team in the Atlantic, a fifth team, did something right.
Boston sold everything.
Oh yeah, Boston sold everything. Buffalo
Which-
did. I will say I think Buffalo did decent on trades. They did terrible at the players they signed. Why are
Yes.
we signing? Why are they signing Jason Zucker and Jordan Greenway to $4 million deals?
Because Kevin Adams is deeply troubled and very stupid.
Anthony Beauvillier was for a second round pick.
Yep.
That is so dumb.
Boston, I will judge Don Sweeney at the conclusion of next offseason.
Do you think he'll
But
make it that far?
He might, but he might not. And I'll say right now, it's not looking good. Because who are they going to sign? Rantanen's off now. There's no free agent coming.
Mitch Marner's not the guy.
Like if the only way I can see this being okay for Boston is if they make some stunning trade in the next 3 months, and Brad Marchand's back.
Cam Denise sent down. Yeah. Brad Marchand could very easily be back.
Yeah. Winners and losers in the West. Losers, LA. They are not equipped. I know I'm so slouched over, dude. I'm so tired. The LA Kings are no better equipped to beat the Oilers than they were last year, year before that.
Yep. That's fair to say. I will stand by. I think their goaltending is slightly better than it has been, but you're right. It's not been a difference maker. Obviously, 2 tough games against LA so far this season for the Oilers. Like Quinton Byfield is really just going to be the difference in that series. Like Brent Clark, I wish they would have moved him today. Yeah, I'm not worried about him. I think the Oilers can take him again.
Minnesota. Here's where I'm going to struggle a bit with Minnesota. They walked into the strip club with their boys, and their boys started throwing up hundreds. And they sat there and went, I'm going to go call it a night and go home. And sometimes you respect that about someone. They knew they couldn't swing like that.
Yeah.
They knew they couldn't do Brock Nelson or Mikko Rantanen or everything that was going on. They didn't have the wallet. They didn't pretend and turn themselves broke for a fun day and a fun night. They just said, we're good. Let's just go home. I have a good life. And that's what they did. Like
Life's at home.
No matter what move they would have done, they're 4th on that totem pole. So they stayed 4th on the totem pole.
They made a couple of decent additions, like Nyquist and Brazo help them. They're fine deals. They're not huge needle movers, but it's kind of just like, all right, you went out and got 2 decent players.
Yeah.
Their blue line is still fine. Their goaltending, obviously, if Gustafsson can show up, he'll be fine. But yeah, they're not exciting. I feel like they're missing someone. Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah.
Yeah,
getting him back and hopefully he's healthy, that would help. But
and first month MVP, November MVP.
Every year.
Every year.
It's like Kirill Kaprizov is truly elite, one of the best. And then he gets hurt, and then he comes back and is like half a point per game. And it's like, oh.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's not that elite.
Yeah.
One other team, Dacky said, this is quite funny timing. Dacky said, Seattle, how did they not move Alexiak and then just one couple down, bring Cassian home? Seattle Loki had a good week. I think they did a good job.
Yep, and here's the thing. Alexiak has term. If you want to get a first-round pick for him at the draft, you can do that. If no one was offering it now.
I'll just know that next season you can also just get that.
And next season you retain half and you'll get a first-round pick for him.
Totally.
So, like, Seattle was under no pressure, I think, unless someone gave a Carlo-esque offer, which, again, makes, I think, the Wallman deal look great because I think Wallman's right there in terms of impact. Totally different style. Totally different style. Just had a Gatorade burp. Totally different style. But I look at Wallman and I'm like, impact-wise, I think he's going to be actually relatively similar to what Alexiak or Carlo would have actually brought you. And term, love it, has another year. It's going to be a good deal for the Oilers.
That's the other thing, too.
And Max Jones.
2 of the 3 players the Oilers got do have an extra year on their deal. Trent Frederick being the only one that didn't.
And you can re-sign him if you want to.
How would you grade him? I was talking to the Watts Chaos guys last night. I made an appearance on a 24-hour stream, which is is just finishing, I think. They said they wouldn't sign Frederick. They said he was having a bad year, and they said, what did they say? If they can get him around $4 million, and say you move off Kane, we were talking about, I was like, yes, you do it, but like if you kind of bring back a similar group and you're not able to move off like Overton or Kane, one of those 2 guys, and maybe re-signing Trent Frederick isn't the best idea.
I see what you're saying. I want to see how he fits, see how it plays out, see how much he likes Edmonton. Like I'm in no rush to honestly have the conversation about it. Like, yeah, would I like him next year at $3 million? Probably. If he plays like shit for the playoffs, then no.
Then we're good. Yeah, I totally agree. And they kind of discussed that as well. They also asked me about Mark, which was, what a conversation.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay. Quickly, Uke. You heard my interview yesterday. The Uke is the untold story of hockey legends about Ukrainian heritage. It dives into the captivating yet often overlooked stories of over 50 NHL champions of Ukrainian descent, including Johnny Busick, Ken Daneyko, Ruslan Fedotenko, and, of course, Wayne Gretzky. Monday, Vladimir Mula, Kelly Rudy, whole bunch of people are hosting the Canadian premiere of this thing. $50 gets you in the doors, gets you watching the premiere, and gets you a Ukrainian dinner as well. You can't really put a price on a good Ukrainian dinner. Some pita, some kubasok, come on. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to ukrfolk.ca, ukrfolk.ca. They also have VIP tickets available. Speaking of events, next Friday, Flight Night at Greta, brought to you by Fountain Tire. It's your chance to win your way in to the Nation Vacation. Next Friday, we'll see you there. Cannot wait. Flight Night presented by Fountain Tire, all in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. Win your way into the Nation Vacation by visiting Greta. I think I had one more thing to say. Short for the Giant. Shout out to our friends at Short for the Giant. Tomorrow's a Short for Giant game day, even though we don't have a show. Boardsy's got pre and post game covered for you though. Late game too, buddy.
Sean, Pang, and Eben. We got Boardsy and Pangsy.
Late game?
8 o'clock. Probably an 8:20 puck drop.
Not for me.
yeah.
I'm going to the Pacific time
Mikko
zone.
Rantanen? Question mark.
Good point.
No, the deal's not done.
He's on his way there.
No way.
I bet you he plays tomorrow.
Bet you he doesn't. God
Reese,
damn it, Reese.
intern Reese, shake my hand.
No, I can't reach.
I want to shake your hand.
Shake my
hand. Okay.
So,
Monday, we're back. We said 30 minutes. We have to do Oilers Nation radio. So if you're looking for more deadline talk, me, Liam, BM, Coombsy, Dan, whole crew's doing ONR in a couple minutes. So
yeah, maybe we'll go live. Probably not.
no, we don't need to do that.
Could though.
ONR, it'll drop later on this afternoon. Does Wallman play tomorrow? I would say yes.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, but tune into Pregaming with Boardsy to get confirmation on that tomorrow. So everybody, fun deadline. I'm exhausted. I said 30-minute show, went 36. So
You're welcome.
Giddy up. Bet 365. Bet on the Oilers to win tomorrow. They're going to go on a heater.
Oil up.
Oil up. Thanks for tuning in.